Hi creative friends, this is Saraya and thank you so much for being here. So I tried to adjust my camera and put it a little bit higher because I watched the last video that I made of this particular spread, and because the book is so large, I don't know, I tried to get as much of it as possible into the camera, but I don't know if all of it kind of managed to get in there. So I hope that this is going to be a little bit of a different vantage point to include all of it. So I left it alone for a few days and I've come back to it and I'm so just loving it even more. I love the juxtaposition of the really warm colors with so much of the cool colors going on here. I'm loving my Tamil script of my newspaper that I had, and you know, I absolutely love this image over here. This is just the star of the show. No matter what I do, I am just going to be pulled into this part right here. So I'm just going to dive right in, and I decided that I was going to cover up this owl. And what I did is I managed to pull some of my own collage pieces, and I found this piece. There was a little bit of a piece here that was attached and I just ripped it up, and I just love that over there. Before I turned the camera on, I was just looking at different pieces and I'm really drawn to this one. And this is what I mean about you making your own collage. Like, this might look like absolutely nothing on its own. It's just, you know, whatever. But when you put it in a certain spread, it can really make or break the piece. And I love this over here. It just blends in seamlessly with all of the blues. It brings in a little bit of the greens. It mimics the shape of this moon over here. And I can cover up the owl. So it's just the perfect piece for right there. And I have a few more of my own pieces of collage that I might put on other parts of the spread. But what I want to do first is I want to cover up this over here. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any more of my Tamil script for my newspaper. So I'm just going to use dictionary pages, and that is totally fine, because I want to cover this up, and I also want to add some interest by adding the writing on here. So what I'm going to do is just stick this down here. Now, I'm not going to stick the collage down right now, but I do want it to go there. And the reason why is because I'm going to bring in more pieces of collage. So once I do that, then I'll stick all of my handmade collage at the same time. And I decided that I was going to cover up this piece over here. And this is like the perfect color. It almost matches this exactly. And the reason why I'm going to cover it up is because I want this to stand out more. And when there's, you know, when the background and the foreground are busy and it's exactly the same color and it's the same image really, that's going to be hard for this part to stand out. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of cover it. Now I may have to put a few different layers, but that's okay. And I want to retain all of that shape there. And I really love the writing as well. It mimics the, you know, it picks up on the white over here. I mean, I'm loving it. So I'm gonna retain the writing for right now. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen later, but and I am going to keep all of this. I really like it. I was thinking about covering it up, but I think it's going to be okay. Now, it is a very cool dominated page, and even though I've inserted the warm over here, it's just going to be a cool dominated page. That's just the way it's going to go. And I think I'm okay with that. Now I'm just gonna kind of try to like blend it a little bit. And you guys, I've mentioned this before, when I'm working in Connie Solera's Painting the Feminine book. When I first purchased her book and when I first received it, I was like, oh my God, like how on earth am I ever going to paint over these images, right? Like, because, you know, I was like, they're so beautiful and how can I do this and blah, blah, blah. So I reached out to her, and the perspective that she gave me changed everything, because she said, you know, consider it a way of me working with her, like a collaboration. And that changed my perspective so much, because I've worked in a book of Van Gogh's art, and I recorded the one Starry Night. And now that I'm working over top of this, it's actually such a privilege when I frame it in that way. Like, is that not incredible that you can work with an artist? Like, that is just, like, it just blows my mind. And not just any artist, but like, you know, Van Gogh, or, you know, this book right here, Chagall, or any book you want to, really. And, you know, working with Connie, that is a gift. So just changing that perspective really helped me be more at ease with covering up the images. Like, I'm not covering up all of it, you know, I'm retaining a lot of it, but just that slight shift in perspective. And now I look at it as like, oh my God, it's such a privilege, an honor, you know. Now I want to keep that yellow, I don't know what it is, a star, a snowflake. with Marc Chagall, anything goes, so it could be anything. Now this is not one of his original paintings, but it is inspired by him, and whoever did the book, the illustrators, they did an excellent job. I don't want to bungle up their name, but I will leave the name of this particular book, I'll leave the information in the description below. Now I'm gonna wait for this to dry before I go back in and kind of like just work over top of it, but I wanted to kind of blend in a little bit here, like so. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drag some of that into the hair a little bit. And so I'm gonna retain all of this except for the owl. And the reason why I want to cover up the owl is because I just feel like it would be a bit distracting. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I might keep the owl, because the owl is sitting in a window and this was a house. But, you know, with the whole mood of this book, which is, you know, anything goes, anything is possible, I might actually keep the owl, like as if she has a little window in her chest and then she's got a little owl. I don't know, actually. You know, I might keep that. I'm not sure. So I'm really glad I didn't stick down my piece of collage. And that's like one of the great things about working in a book like this, besides, you know, the fact that you're learning and you're strengthening your visual language and you're working with another artist, you're collaborating with them. But another thing is, like, you're so influenced by the art that's already here. And in this case, like with Marc Chagall, you know, anything is possible, like, you know, and that influences the way you paint. Because now I'm like, yeah, you know, it's totally normal that she would be you know, this is her dress, and she's got a little window in her chest, and there's a little owl right there. That is completely, just totally fine. You know? And, oh, you know, this is gonna be a perfect little, like an ornament in her hair, I think. So I'm really liking that. And over here, let me kind of, now the way this figure is positioned, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of her face, which is totally fine. And what I'm going to do is I am going to drop some of that ink in there and just start building up the face here. Ooh, and I just love this. Oh my goodness. And I'm really just loving the contrast between these really warm, rich colors with all of this cool here. It's really making these faces pop. So I don't know if I want to add some of my handmade collage, because I don't know. I'm still debating whether I should cover that up or whether I should keep it. I don't know. Part of me wants to cover it up, and part of me wants to keep it, keep the owl. So I really don't know. And when I don't know, I just kind of let it sit for a while and until I figure it out. Like, part of me wants to be kind of playful, but then another part of me is like, I want to add this because I really do feel like that's a beautiful addition. I feel like, you know, it just fits in perfectly there. And I like the repetition of the shapes here, so I don't know. I'm just gonna think about it. And I'm just gonna go like so over here. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make their hair, I don't know if I should make their hair black or brown, or I was even thinking of a dark blue, but I think I'm gonna go with a brown, maybe a brown and a black. I don't know. This is a very kind of a fantasy kind of a book, so I guess I can just try out different things and see what works. Now I do want to retain this yellow part here. has like a little, I don't know, hair jewelry, I guess. And I just really love the way it picks up on the yellow here. Now, I think over here I want black. I don't know, I'm just kind of feeling it. And I'm gonna try to see if I can retain some of these, like, I guess leaves here. I think that would be interesting. I wasn't really liking the shape of that, so there we go. And I think I'm going to drag some of that dark color in here. When you add different colors to the hair, it just gives it a lot of life and dimension rather than it being a flat color. And another favorite color I like to add to the hair is an ultramarine blue. But that would, you know, depend on what color hair you're painting. Okay. And I don't know, you guys. I'm going to leave this alone because part of me wants to keep the owl and then part of me wants to cover it up. So because I don't know, I'm just going to leave it alone. And I am just going to add a little bit of orange to the face here, just to kind of give it some dimension. And so you guys, by me making all these videos of me working over top of these books, I really hope that it has inspired you to try doing this with any kind of book that you might be drawn to, you know, because there is seriously so much to learn from working in a book like this. And it can be a bit nerve-wracking in the beginning, but the more you do it, the more at ease you're going to become and the more confident you are going to become in your own visual language. Because you have to think of it this way, you know, the fact that you are using all these strong images, like I did one where I was working over Starry Night, and this one over here with Chagall and Connie Solera, her book. Those are all very strong visual languages. So in order to work with a book like that and incorporate your art with what's on the page, you have to have a strong visual language. And if you don't, you're going to develop it just by working on, you know, the different spreads. So I really hope that this has kind of given you food for thought and inspiration to just try working in a book like this. The only thing I would say is, you know, just please don't pick glossy pages, because then you're going to have to sand every page. And I don't know if that appeals to you, that's fine. But I know for me, like, that would seriously just cause me to have a meltdown. I think I don't think I could sand every page. So yeah, you know, just pick a book that you are drawn to and just have at it. And now I'm going to let everything dry. And if you've watched all the way to the end, you guys, thank you so much. And if you have an opinion on this little guy over here, just let me know. Like, I don't know, part of me wants to keep it and part of me wants to cover it up. Almost to the point where, you know, maybe I could just hot glue the bottom part of it and then leave it like this so that I could like peel it back and look at the little guy, but then also cover it up, you know. I don't know. Yeah, I might even do that. So if you guys have an opinion on that, let me know. I would just be interested to hear what you guys think. But if you've watched all the way to the end, if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.